Hey, wonderful people, I'm back here again between the two jobs, right? There's a highway that goes through here, and this is the area where I sit, and they're fixing this place up back here. They have these cones out here. Nobody else parks here, and the other place can't see me. I don't know if they chase me off or not, but I don't want to go to my other job too soon, or they want you to start right away. And I can't do that. Times have to be very rigid. So anyway, um, yeah. So I didn't get on to things like I wanted to. I wanted to over the weekend. I always have these plans during the weekend. Well, things got in the way. I had to take down the decorations, as you saw. I had to do other stuff. I had to clean. I probably didn't do. I did a good job. I cleaned a lot, but I could have done it a lot better. I spent probably, I don't know, it just felt like 2 hours on cleaning dishes and stuff. And I had a lot in there, but holy crud, man, use a dishwasher. I have a dishwasher in there, you know, 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours to just blow away anymore. Right. Between two jobs. Your Saturdays and your Sundays are religiously protected. Um, there's a little downtime where you could just kick back and say, oh, finally. But you can't do that all day, and your body will tell you that you should, and you need the sleep that you need. I got a good amount of sleep tonight. I had to get a good amount of sleep tonight because I've been not getting proper amounts of sleep. And you get better sleep when you go to sleep at the same time every day. And that matters as well. So I'm not tired today at all. I'm not fighting tiredness. I don't have to buy, like I don't make coffee usually. So I buy coffee, which is delicious, but I don't want to do that. I'm still pinching every penny. I know my bank account is growing, but I don't have a whole lot of money. So I will pinch every penny, just about every penny, for quite a while until I have enough where it's like, dude, you really don't need to be doing that anymore. You need to loosen up the purse strings a little bit. Um, but I have a goal that I have a vow rather, that I only spend money if it has a positive effect in my life. And not if you feel like it, not if, I used to do the thing where and I got this from my mom, where, oh, you have money, if you have enough, if you can afford it, yeah. So I would be like, I can afford it, 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 till I couldn't, and then I was broke. I burned through thousands like that, and I don't know where it went. It just goes because you're not watching it. It all adds up, and then you can live off of a small amount of money, but you can also burn through money insanely quick and be like, what the heck? Where did it all go? That's insane. But yeah, you can do that. So you got to be careful. And so right now I'm pinching every penny, just about every penny. I'm not on emergency rations right now, right? I'm down to, like I said the other day, I wouldn't buy anything that I didn't absolutely need for survival. Now I'm a little beyond that. So I bought a pair of jeans. I don't absolutely need them for survival, but it's like the next level up. I needed them for the job, and I had the money, and did it pass the positivity test? Yes, it's a positive. It makes me look more intelligent. It makes me look more put together, which is very important. People pass that by, but that's how they judge your raises. That's how they judge if they're going to be friends with you, if they're going to be positive towards you, if you're going to be, if you come in looking like a goofball every day, you're a target for people that are malicious. But beyond all that, what was I talking about? Money, always talking about money. So yeah, it was one step up. And that's what I'll be doing for the next month or so. And then I'm going to start, this month is the month I'm going to start paying stuff down, making sure that I'm getting on top of stuff instead of having stuff being on top of me. Went to work today, my first job, and there's a guy, he refuses to do, he refuses to work a second job. He's not doing it. And he bragged, I can't pay my bills, but I'm buying this anyway. I know, I've been there, man. I know where you kind of almost take pride in your ability to be a flunky. To I know, I've been there. Yeah, you have your reasons why you don't want to work a second job. I get it. I had my reasons, and you know what? They were wrong. I admit it. Mea culpa. I was wrong. I was terribly wrong. I was terribly wrong. And I think it's because of how I structured it and who I listened to, and I had the mentors and everything like that. And that's the bigger lesson there, is that what you think of a thing before you get into it and you're a total neophyte is not what it is. Almost guaranteed, whatever it is, it's not that. So take anything in the world, being the president, being, I don't know, like Blockbuster. I was thinking about that the other day. Blockbuster, a multi-billion-dollar company, couldn't figure out that CDs with it, that the online was the next thing. Everybody else knew it, but they couldn't. Right? Whatever you think. So you're like, well, if I was a CEO, I'd be, I'd just switch it around, and maybe you would. But also, whatever you think it's like to be the CEO of a company, of that company, or whatever, it's not. Whatever you think it's going, so you think you're going, and then it comes down to yourself. What kind of self do you think you're going to be? Oh, if I had a degree in X, Y, and Z, I'd be this and I could do that. It's not. Or to get that education, it's going to take this, that, and the other thing. It's not. It might take the steps, but I guarantee it's not going to come out like you thought it would. It'll either come out better, right? But that's not, and not in the degrees. It'll be totally different than what you thought it was. And I went to a university, and it was totally different than I thought it was. And the changes I got from it was totally different. I thought I was just going to learn some stuff and get some piece of paper. Instead, it changes you into a different person, and the things I learned were totally different than the things I thought I would learn. And the time that I had was totally different than what I thought it would be. And the feeling that I got from being there and after being there is totally different than I thought it would be. And the school loans, the student loans, are totally different than I thought it would be, right? I thought I'd get this great job and money would come flowing in and I'd pay them off. Well, I didn't, and I didn't, right? There you go. And that's how it just about is for just about everything. So if you're thinking about getting a second job, it ain't like you think it's going to be. Now, whether you think you can handle it or don't, the answer is yes. Well, if you think you can handle it, you can't. Don't do it. Don't go into things negatively. It might be the right thing, but the way you go into it matters. The way you go into it will determine the choices you get, and blah, 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 your attitude, and their attitudes towards you. And if you believe in the law of attraction, what you attract is what you are, and that whole thing, blah, 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 whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's still going to turn out to be garbage one way or another if you go into it as garbage. It's just, that's the way it is. And so now I try and go into everything. And there's a couple of things that and that I've gone into, and I'm like, oh, this is, oh, no, I don't want to do this right now. I don't. And every time I forced myself, it wasn't good. Every single time. Careers, even that I went into, I forced myself to go into careers. I forced myself basically to be a teacher. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Now, the state I was in, this North Carolina, is a terrible, terrible state to be a teacher. Low pay, high stress. The state doesn't really care about you. You are overworked and underpaid. So a lot of people were getting teacher degrees to go and out of state. A lot of people. It was a pathway before they even started down the track of getting a teaching license. Before they even started, you know, anything, they already had the path planned out to go to Virginia, which is a much better state for teachers. Much better. They treat you better. Instead of putting the money into I'm not going to go down that whole path. But they treat you a lot better, and the pay is a lot better, and the standards are a lot better and clearer. Yeah, it's just a lot better. And so people were leaving before they even got in, right? And I didn't know any of that. I was just forcing myself to get in, and I didn't see all the opportunities because I was whining through the whole thing and forcing and grinding through the whole thing. How you go in is drastically important. Very few exceptions to that rule, I find. I find that when you are pulled into something unwillingly, that can be a different story. But, and probably about maybe 80% of the time when you're pulled into something unwillingly, that's going to be a different story. But when you go into something unwilling, forcing yourself, it's not good. And originally, I probably would have done that with the 2 jobs. I probably just would have called around and did some things for cash, and that would have been trash. So what I did this time, let me see what time it is without disturbing. I'm on my phone doing this. Yeah, I got about probably maybe about 10 minutes. Maybe. I got my phone doing this, and it does not show the time. All I can do is go by how long I've been on the video. So yeah, that's my gold nugget for today, and I found that out, and I keep finding that out. Don't go in. Even if it's like, even when it's your job today, if you go into your job today negatively, the negative outcomes will come around. Even if you're just like, I don't know what I want, but I want it to be a good day. I don't know what it's going to, I want it to be a good day. That's better than saying, oh crap, another day. It's going to be terrible, man. It's going to be a terrible day today. It's always a terrible day. If you go in it like that, it's going to be a terrible day. That's what I find. Every time I'm watching people drive around, this is a different, there's a storage facility right next door. By the way, storage facilities are springing up everywhere here because they're necessary, but also from what I hear, it's an excellent business. You have the storage facility, basically you rent out spaces to people's property, not even the people. When you rent an apartment, you got to put up with people's ish, and it runs the gamut. Right? And then when you have to evict somebody, it's horrible. But with storage facilities, it's just the stuff. And sometimes you do have to close down on their stuff, and you just auction it out to the next person. And it's not a big deal. The sheriff isn't there kicking kids out onto the street crying. And I've seen that happen in the hood, because my first job is in the hood. It was terrible. Where was I? So right now, today my teeth, these teeth are ground down a lot from these teeth. And now we've gotten space at the dentist. It cost me about $5,000 to separate those teeth, which is a lot of money for me, over the last 2 years. And it's still sensitive if I use these front bottom teeth. And yeah, that's another $2-3 grand right there that I don't have. And I already owe the dentist $4,000 that I'm paying down. So you see why. Yeah, and I got to do this tooth and I got to do that tooth, and it's like, oh. And my 2-job mentor, she, and some other people in the place, they don't believe in doing a whole lot of spending money on the dentist like that. But it matters. For me, it matters anyway, especially if I'm going to get a better job, that, I'm going to have to look like the part. Never found dress for success a thing. Work for success, that's a thing. And I see that people don't really want to do that. I didn't used to want to do it either, because it takes away from your pleasure, your TV time, your movie time, your relaxation time, your drinking time, your buddy time, your friend time, your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife time. I get it. And that those times are important. I'm not saying they're not important, but they don't need to have as much time usually as we give them. At least not in my life. I was watching, I would go home and watch 5 hours of TV or videos. I didn't need that. It was a waste. I spent 5 hours here at the second job, and I'm making money. Money. And money gives me opportunities. 5 hours of TV, all that TV time, does that give me opportunities? No, it doesn't. It made me feel bad about my life, honestly, because when you don't have money, you start to feel bad about yourself. You start to hate on yourself, your life. You start to question everything and neg everything down and feel bad about everything. And it's just a bad place to be. It's not just about being impoverished and being a saint or something. Like they make it so glorious, right? It's terrible. It's hell on earth. For me, it was. I hated it. And I'm never going back there. Never. I'm working my ASS off to make sure this continues and gets better. And I hope you do the same thing too. I don't know why you're watching. If you're not, maybe you just want to see the journey, see if this fool does anything with his life. Today I didn't do the things I wanted to do, and the weekend I didn't do the things I wanted to do, which is to, partially about getting a better job, to fulfill these 2 jobs. Instead of working 2 jobs, I can just work 1 job and then have more than enough money. Or maybe, right, work 2 jobs and make a lot more money. But I didn't do any of that this weekend. None of it. I didn't look at any of it. And when I don't do that, I don't feel good about. I feel disjointed. Like I feel like, it's not that I feel bad or sad or mad. It's that I feel out of sorts. I don't know how else to put it. Like, almost like you were supposed to be living in one place, but now you're living in another, and it's like, what am I doing here? That's how it feels when I don't do the key things that I set out to do. Now, for the rest of the day, I will target those things and make sure they get done whenever I can squeeze them in. But I gotta end this video because I got an appointment to keep, and I have never been late yet. Well, not intentionally. The battery died in my car. That would have been an adventure to go through, right? You could have seen that. So let's see what we're doing here. Whoa, that's good. That's very good time. Okay, so until next time, what should we talk about next time? I'm going to leave it up to next time to talk about, because you think it's going to be this, and then something way more important, way more relevant comes up to the topic. So let's leave it at that, and I'm still working on getting my the better job to replace these 2 jobs. So let's see how that works out too. That's a ongoing story as well. Wish me luck. I wish you luck. Let's go get it.